The thread on when you start hating your girlfriend. Wow, what? The men who partook in that thread are pick-me men. If you're being hired by the government, Hulumandi, okay? Is that how Zulu people say? So then Wits came out and said, sorry, where, who? I saw that and I'm like, ay, Bomate, you. Wabana now, if it's coming out, Will and Jada. Yes, sis. Some people are just horrible people. And if they are horrible people, why are you even keeping them as your friend? Don't keep around shitty people, hey? Don't do that. Don't do that. Do I think that she should have gone public? Absolutely. Do I think there was nothing wrong with it? Absolutely. Do I believe the woman first? Absolutely. Defending her publicly when she is wrong means that I condone bad behavior in my sister, and I would never do such. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hey everybody, tell me if you know who Charlotte Dobre is. If you are, you're a cool person. You're a cool person, let me know. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So excited to be here. Got my water, got you. It's about to be a good time. Thank you so much for being here today. I am filming one of my favorite videos to film because it just helps me get in a really good mood. And yeah, I got work later, so I gotta get in the mood. I gotta get in the mood. Thank you so much for being here. As always, thank you for choosing me over and over and over again. I appreciate you being here. Please don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let's try and get the videos to over 1,000 likes. It really does help the channel go a long way. Thank you for being here. Today we are going to be doing controversial trending topics, and as I am recording this, there is a lot. I got some from the previous time that I announced it on Instagram, so I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit of everything into this particular video. So we're gonna get into it. The first one that by a landslide won. A landslide. And if you're not South African, you might not be familiar with this one, but this is the Dr. Matthew Lani situation. But Dr. Matt, if you're not South African, let me explain it to you really quickly. So there is this doctor on TikTok, because it has then since been proven that he's not a doctor, but we'll get into that. So there's this doctor that had a large following on TikTok about, you know, where he would do TikTok lives and he would do TikToks about, you know, talking about his profession and giving people medical advice, not only giving them medical advice, but also selling some medication, which I don't even know what the medication was for, but we'll get into that. And also maybe walking through hospital hallways in scrubs and such. And he disseminated medical advice on TikTok. So people would ask him that, look, I've got a rash here, and then, you know, send pictures and whatever. And he'd say, oh, well, that looks like shingles. Hey! So it has since been disproven that, no, he is not a doctor, and no, he did not study in certain places that he claimed that he studied at higher institutions, and it was nuts. So this trended, at the time of this recording, this trended maybe 2 weeks ago, and it trended for days. For days. When I tell you, every single media outlet was talking about this, from the radio.
I get paid to be a doctor, not to be on TikTok.
But you're on TikTok.
He's digging his heels in.
He's doubling down here.
He's doubling down.
Now here's perhaps a lesson on why you shouldn't believe everything you see on social media, especially if people say they're experts. Because Wits University is saying it has no records that a popular TikTok influencer graduated from their institution as a medical doctor.
People were going nuts over Dr. Matthew Lani here. So my chat is what the actual heck did we just witness? And for me, it had me worried. Very, very, very worried because one, I didn't know who Dr. Matthew Lani was, right? Actually, I didn't know who Matthew Lani was, okay? So I had to go onto the TikTok. Fortunately, I managed to get onto his TikTok profile before it was taken down by TikTok. And I saw some of the TikToks that he did. And I was just like, okay. So when it came to my attention was when I was on X, previously known as Twitter, and I saw him trending, and I was like, who is this Matthew Lani? Who is this Matthew Lani? And when I familiarized myself and I watched the content and I watched the videos and I watched all those things, I was in extreme shock. Various ways, okay? First and foremost, when I saw it, the same day, the HPCSA, the Health Professionals Commission of South Africa, I think, the HPCSA released a statement saying that they do not know of anyone by that name who is a doctor that is registered with the HPCSA. And in South Africa, all practicing medical professionals must be registered with the HPCSA. So number one, that was a big problem. I saw that and I'm like, Bo Matthew, Wabana now, if it's coming out that you are not a dog teller and the HPCSA is saying something about this, then there is a serious problem. So then people started pulling out his TikToks, and at some point he had said on a Facebook post or on a TikTok post or what have you that he studied at Wits. Now, Wits is one of the most prestigious universities in the country, especially when it comes to medicine. A lot of the doctors in the country have studied at Wits, okay? If you studied here and you studied to be a doctor, a lot of them went through Wits, okay? So then Wits came out and said, sorry, where? Who? We don't know him. No, he don't go here. He does not go here. He never been going here. So then I'm like, yeah, batung Matthew, now, ring batung. Then it was Vets. Okay, sharp. Then Vets came out and said no. And then after that, it all started tumbling down. That's when everything started tumbling down. Then they had found out that he had said something about Cambridge International College or International Cambridge College and all of that. And even Cambridge came out and said, no, we don't got nobody in our books by that name. No, he didn't go here. She didn't even go here. She didn't even go here. And then I was like, nah. And then I went on to the TikToks, okay? And I went on and I started listening. I listened to Anela's show and I listened to a lot of people start talking about Matthew, and then people start coming out about how they were buying his tablets. Then other things started coming out because then you have government departments that have taken him on for campaigns where they've had him, talk about he was very much a big activist of HIV AIDS and all of that. And he would talk about it a lot on his TikToks, which is great. I mean, we need more activists. But if you're being hired by the government, Hulumandi, okay? Is that how Zulu people say? If you've been hired by Hulumandi, okay, Matthew, if they've hired you to then be the face of a particular campaign that is HIV AIDS related, how did they not vet you, right? And then you find that not only the government institutions, but he has sat in radio interviews, in TV interviews, where he was talking about him being a dog. And I'm just like, wait a minute. How is our system so sordid, really even corrupt to a certain degree, that we are not doing background checks on the people that we have on board in our shows, in our radio shows, in our TV shows, in our campaigns and all of that? How are we not doing radio checks on these people? How are we not doing background checks on these people? When I tell you it was me that wanted to meet Matthew 2 streets away because I had questions. I had an overwhelming amount of questions for Matthew, like, Matthew, brah, which one? What is happening? And then Matthew came out and did TikTok lives, where he was not agreeing to anything that the HPCSA was saying, to anything that Wits was saying. He was just like, no, I am a doctor. Then at this point, it made me think. Then I sat down and I was like, let's be smart about this. Let's not go crazy. Let's be smart about this. What is wrong, Matthew? How can we help you? Because at this point, I firmly believed that it was a psychological issue, that something was wrong, and we needed to get into it. I can't believe I've been talking about Matthew for 11 minutes. But I realized then that no, the issue is much bigger, and it's up here with Matthew. It's definitely up here. And of course, a few days later after that, there was something that came out that said, no, there's some psychological issues that have been happening, or mental issues that have been happening, which that I will not speak to. As a mental health advocate, I'm activist and advocate. I'm not going to speak to that, or speak to someone's mental health. However, then it made sense for me. So let me tell you, I was just as shooketh, if not more shooketh, than the South African community about Mr. Matthew Lani. And then the next best thing that Will and Jada. Someone needs to put a muzzle on Jada. Honestly, that thing, it's a muzzle, right? Someone needs to put a muzzle on Jada. At some point, I know somebody was saying that, would you pick up the Worthy book? No. More than anything, I would want to pick up Will Smith's book and actually read his book, not necessarily Jada's. Because personally, I think, one, it's a marketing tool. It's a ploy to sell her book. Every single time that something is about to come out, a show is about to come out, Red Table Talk, a big episode is about to come out, this and that, a movie, this and that, blah, blah. The Smiths have been known to release some kind of really sordid thing that makes them trend, right? So that we are more inclined to pick up the book. It's a big marketing tool. It's a big marketing tactic. I hear the chat. However, as a person, I think at this point, I really, really dislike Jada. And the reason being is because how do you do this to your husband? Whether that husband is no longer your husband and you've been living apart since 2016, but Bamdimu, we don't care, sweetie. We don't care whether you guys split up in 2016, then up until now, but you are not officially divorced. Why are you sharing this information? Keep quiet. And the thing about it is then you see Will and you watch Will and you see that he's not saying anything. I just immediately felt this sense of sadness, overwhelming sadness for Will Smith, because I was just like, bruh, you gotta let it go. At some point, both of you gotta let it go. You have children. How are you doing this? How are you sitting and talking about another man? Man, we all love Tupac. But you're talking about how he was the love of your life. And every single time you talk about Tupac, you are in tears. You are broken about it. We can actually see Tupac was the love of your life. I Shem Lolo, Real understand that when a sweetie, Real Bona Hori, Tupac was the love of your life, but gosh, no. For a man that you've been with this long, this is sad. How are you taking out all this information? You know, I think the one that disturbed me the most was when she said, at some point, Chris Rock hit her up and said, there was a rumor going around and in the streets that her and Will Smith were divorced or getting a divorce or whatever. And Chris Rock called her and asked to take her out on a date or something. And I said, of what value? And this was before the Oscar. So of what value is it to divulge that kind of information. Why would you do that? Now it leads us to think in hindsight that, oh wow, that is why. That is why there could be a larger issue here at hand. Right, there's a larger issue here at hand that basically says that the reason behind why Will could have done that is because of what Chris Rock could have done years prior, based on some rumor. Yet she chooses to divulge. Third, yes, sis. Eggs and their prices. There by South Africa. In Botswana, we're still a bit safe. The price of eggs is wild. I can actually say that I think I bought eggs like maybe 2 days before the price went nuts. And I don't eat eggs all the time. I'll probably have eggs like twice a week, maybe once a week or whatever. I just keep them in the fridge. But my whole thing is, what in the bird flu is this? What in the Riska Jamai is this? What are they doing to us? Eggs are such a staple in so many households that we're really going through it. And in some stores, like Woolworths and all of that, where they still have eggs, I don't know about now as I'm recording this, but in some stores where they still have eggs, they limit each person to 6 eggs per store. Okay, so they limit you in that one time that you're buying 6 eggs only. And it's just like, and I'm not too crazy about eggs, but you know, it's like when knowing that something is not there, when it's there and you have access to it all the time, it's just like, okay, it's eggs, you know what I'm saying? But now every time you're thinking about, oh, I want to go to Tasha's, or I want to go to Whippet, or I want to go to a brunch spot, are they going to have eggs? And how much is the meal going to cost? Because it's ridiculous. I'm hearing prices of 30 eggs going for $150 and 60 eggs going for like $270. And I'm just like, what in the economic devastation is this? No. Okay. Faith Nketzi's marriage ending. Okay. Okay. I don't follow her. I don't follow her at all. I never followed her marriage. I never followed. I believe her husband is from some well-known family or ex-husband. I don't have an opinion here. I just think that if it's not working out, end it. Do not keep going on for the sake of the fact that you have children. Do not keep going on for the sake because it just makes you a very unhappy person in your marriage. So if she felt the need to go, then amen. I think I did hear wind, and I could be wrong here, so I'll use the alleged term, but I did hear wind somewhere that there wasn't a prenup that was signed, so that's also wild. Absolutely wild. And I don't know if it'll be beneficial for her, because we done heard some stories about him and his family and his business and all of that. So I don't know how beneficial it will be for her. Maybe it might come at a loss for her more than anything else. But hey man, I don't follow her. I've really but I don't have much to say about that. In my opinion, getting married in your 20s is not the trap that people make it out to be. Do people make it out to be a trap? Okay. Marriage is what you make it. I believe we are setting many women up for late or high-risk pregnancies and the singleness, all in the name of get your bag, sis, and be independent. Let's not mislead each other honestly. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this comment. I think that, I don't think saying that somebody must get her bag and be independent and whatever is setting her up for high-risk pregnancies or singleness or anything like that. I believe as women we're formidable. We can do all of that at the same time. So I don't know about the getting married in your 20s being a trap. I do think getting married in your early 20s, even mid-20s, is not the wisest. Personally, for me, I don't think it is the wisest, because you are still learning lots about yourself and your partner, of course, now in this turn, but you're still learning lots about yourself that I think you're not really as settled in who you are, what you want about your life, for your life, for your partner and all of that, to be getting married so young. Personally, for me, I think even though the marriage might last, but I think there'll be a lot of harboring of really resentment for a lot of things the earlier that you get married, when it comes to your partner and all of that. So a lot of unhappiness, resentment and things like that. Whereas if you get married in a later stage in your life, maybe late 20s, early 30s, going forward, I think there's a lot of stability, a lot more stability for yourself financially as a person and all of that, as opposed to getting married in your early 20s. So misleading people and saying that no, singleness and all of that, high risk pregnancies, technology is very, very advanced. You have women giving birth at 40, 45, 50. So honestly, I don't think it's misleading. I think that medicine and technology has highly improved when it comes to things like that. And if you cannot have a baby, there's many ways in which you can have one now. So I think there's nothing misleading about wanting a woman to be successful and independent, and actually also giving them the opportunity to do all of those things at once. Women can do all of those things at once. She can be married, successful, independent, and have a child all at 28, and nothing wrong with that. So the high risk pregnancies become really high risk when you're looking at above in your late 30s and early into your 40s. So I'm going to have to disagree with that one. Low maintenance friendships, when people are just really shit friends. Why are you having low maintenance friendships? Why, Sindisiwe? Why are you agreeing to having low maintenance friendships? Why is that even a thing for you? A friendship is just as, if not more important than an intimate relationship that you have with a partner. So why are you agreeing to have low maintenance friendships? Some people are just horrible people. And if they are horrible people, why are you even keeping them as your friend? Nope. You can have chats with them, and then if they change the way that they behave, that's good. That's a good sign. But why are you keeping them as your friend if they are really, really crappy people? Don't keep around shitty people, hey? Don't do that. Don't do that. The Oyster girl and dating etiquette. Oh my gosh. If you didn't see this TikTok, I'm going to put it here.
When the fourth one came out, he was looking at me crazy. I didn't give a... I'm like, baby, you invited me out. I'm going to eat. And I was coming anyway. But I ain't gonna lie. No, I wouldn't have did all that, but I did do all that. It was so good. I was not expecting it to be that good.
My goodness, this girl gets invited out to a date with a gent, and she's filming the whole thing, right? For the TikToks, for the views, and for the clicks, and all of that. Oysters are going half a dozen oysters are going for like $15 or something like that. She has literally, or half a dozen oysters, I don't know. She has something around 40 something odd oysters, and her date ditches her. I think brother man did the absolute most. I would have done the absolute same thing. First and foremost, oysters are not cheap. Okay, not only that, she eats the oysters, the 40-something odd oysters, and then she opens the menu again. She's like, what am I gonna eat now? I'm so hungry. Hey, boy, now. Oyster South Africa, oyster A1, it's 30 rand. Oyster A1. Now imagine having 12. Imagine having 24. Imagine having 36 or 48. Now, you tell me how wild that concept is, and I don't understand how people felt some type of way about the fact that the date left her in the dust. He did damn right. Let her pay for that bill, because on top of that, after that, she had crab cakes, and then she had something else, I don't know, some potatoes and all of that. And she's like, she's filming the whole thing. Excuse me? On whose bill? You must be out your mind if you think I'm going to pay for that bill. I'm sorry. If I was the guy, I would have done the absolute same thing. Please, man, get out of here. The show Unfollowed on Showmax, I absolutely loved it. Is it still playing? I don't know. But the episodes that I've seen, I absolutely love Unfollowed. I think it is great. I think sometimes we go out of our way to cancel people. I don't believe in cancel culture, personally. But we go out of our way to cancel people, to be so just, oh my goodness, that we never get the opportunity to hear the story from the other side. And I think Unfollowed is doing just that. Let's not forget Tembekile. What are you even talking about? If you're not familiar with Unfollowed and you have Showmax where you are, you can check for Unfollowed. It's on there. It is streaming on Showmax. It is fantastic. And they picked the absolute greatest person to interview the celebrities and these people who have been unfollowed or cancelled. It was great. I got to see some of the people that were on the show in a very different light. I got to get even angrier at some of the people that were on the show. I got to feel some type of way about some of the people that were on the show. I know somebody said to me, what did I think of Lady Zamar being on the show? The reason why I'm not going to talk about the Lady Zamar one as much is because Lady Zamar's situation is very, very personal. It's deep. There is a lot involved in the Lady Zamar and Java situation, and I don't want to talk about it because I will always believe the woman first. I will always believe the woman first. I will never just be like, oh, just because I love this one and whatever. Do I think there's certain things that may have been problematic leading up to? Yes. Do I think there's certain things that may have been problematic that may have shifted the narrative and not in her favor, especially when she went out public about it? Yes. Do I think that she should have gone public? Absolutely. Do I think there was nothing wrong with it? Absolutely. Do I believe the woman first? Absolutely. I'll always believe the woman first. So I know that it's very difficult sometimes when many men are accused of things that they didn't do. I am absolutely familiar with this, and I think there should be recourse for women who lie on men who they claim that they have done that, they have essayed them, or something like that. There should be some sort of legal recourse. Those women who do that should be brought to book, because then if they are brought to book, then less women will come out talking nonsense and falsely accusing men of essaying them or assaulting them in that way. So, but for me personally, as somebody who has been experienced some form of gender-based violence, I'll always believe the woman first. I said what I said, so okay. Would you still defend your sister publicly, hypothetically, even if she was in the wrong? No, I would not defend her publicly if she was in the wrong. Would I defend her? Firstly, let me tell you why I wouldn't do that. Because one, I'd be the first one to know if she was in the wrong. Okay, I would know about it before it hits the public streets. Secondly, I would call her out absolutely privately. Yes, but will I let her throw her to the dogs? Will I throw her to the dogs when I know she wasn't wrong? Absolutely not. No. And defending her publicly when she is wrong means that I condone bad behavior in my sister, and I would never do such. She knows that. She knows that. Even with her relationships. If I feel like, Nana lady, that was up. If I feel that was messed up, I will tell her. She knows I'm the one person who will tell her, and it'll really anger her most times, or it'll sit off with her. But eventually, after she calms down a little bit, she'll be like, okay, Katleho, I hear you, check, Katleho, this. But will I publicly scold my sister? Absolutely not. I'm not a crazy. But will I privately tell her off? Yes. Will I privately say to her, listen, own your crap. Now this is out, and you know you done did this, and you have a large, huge platform. Switch on the camera and apologize. If you are wrong, switch on the camera and take accountability and apologize. But would I scorn her publicly? No. What? That is my mother's child. That would never be me. Co-signing your friend's behaviors is acceptable, even if it's unhealthy or toxic. Absolutely not. What? What did I just read? No. I will co-sign your behavior if you want to make money and you want to do it in the right way. I will co-sign your behavior if you want love and you want it the right way and whatever. I will co-sign your behavior if you walk away from a relationship where you're being cheated on and this and this. Will I co-sign your behavior if you be cheating on your man and you be cheating on your partner and you are this and blah, blah? I will not. I am not that friend. I do not co-sign unhealthy behavior. I do not co-sign toxic behavior. I have called out my friends so many times and they get mad. I remember I had a conversation with one of my friends where I was telling her that I hear what you're saying about what you're saying, but I don't think that's okay. That's not okay. You should not be speaking about this, especially about the person that you were speaking about, the person in question, right? I said to her, you shouldn't be speaking about this. This is not okay. And then she was like, no, Katleho, no, da, da, da. She got mad and she's like, you know what? I need a moment. And I said, take your moment. Sure. But I am going to call you out. And then after a while, she came back and she said, which then I understood. She said, I just needed you to support my venting and support me in that moment. And I heard it. And I said, I hear the chat, but I can't support you when you're doing something wrong. I cannot support that. Or when you're saying something wrong, because this might fundamentally alter something that was happening in her life at the time. So no. I'll co-sign great, well-behaved girlfriends, friends. Yeah, I will co-sign. I'll be like, that's my chummy. That's my chummy. But will I co-sign crappy behavior? Absolutely not. No. Will I co-sign you being disrespectful to an elder just because they did what? No, I'm not disrespectful to my elders. So why would I co-sign that? Because you can be firm and you can tell off an elder and whatever without being disrespectful. So as your friend, I will not co-sign disrespectful behavior. The thread on when you start hating your girlfriend. Wow. First and foremost, the men who partook in that thread are pick-me men. And they are pick-me men to their friends, to their male friends. Do you understand? Give a ice boy. Give a pick-me men to their male friends. I want you to pick me because I believe, listen, let me tell you something. A real man does not behave that way. You don't, yes, all of us get some sort of attitude or behavior. We start acting differently in that period where we want to be done with our relationship, right? But you don't get to a point where you, I'm sorry, I'm unlocking my phone. But you don't get to a point where you are hating your girlfriend and then treating them the way that they are saying. What are you talking about? That is schoolboy behavior. I said what I said. That is schoolboy behavior. We all have a sense of, I don't want to be with this person anymore. I don't like being around them or whatever. But the vulgarity and the debauchery of that thread was like, this is pick me small boy behavior. This is how they say that men care more about what other men think than what women think. Perfect example with that thread. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go. If you did, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you as always for choosing me over and over again. Let us get this video to over 1,000 likes. I would love that. Thank you so much. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing me over and over again. I will see you in the next video. Until then, sayonara.